Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
This unbelievable one-year review. It's my Capital One Venture X birthday. Let's take a deep dive on my first year value from this card and find out if it's a keep or a cancel.
Gotta give yourself a raise.
I was approved for a $20,000 credit limit. I gotta say, this year flew by, and after having this card for a full year, I want to dig deep on the value I got from this card and what I expect going forward, on top of all the perks and benefits you get from this card, to find out if it's right for you. The Capital One Venture X is definitely a premium travel credit card, right up there in the same class with the Chase Sapphire Reserve and the Amex Platinum, but with a way more affordable annual fee. As this video is going to be a little bit longer, I have added timestamps so you can skip around to the parts you're looking for. So with the Capital One Venture X, you pay a $395 annual fee. As this may seem a little steep, later in the video, I'm going to explain how you actually get paid $5 a year at least just to hold this card. Now yes, you do have to pay that $395 annual fee up front, but you get that back plus so much more every single year from this card, as long as you at least travel one time a year. So this card hit the market in late 2021 and quickly made a name for itself in the premium travel credit card market, definitely playing with the big hitters in the game. That $395 annual fee definitely makes this card a great card for the minimal traveler that still wants to get all those special perks you get with a premium travel credit card. Also, a very simple to use card and a great first step in the travel credit card market. Sometimes it's hard for some people to justify the annual fee on, say, the Chase Sapphire Preferred at $550 or the Amex Platinum at $695 a year. And hey, every year with the Capital One Venture X, you get a $300 travel credit. Now, you do have to use this in the Capital One travel portal, which some people complain about, but honestly, it is so easy to use the portal, and the prices are pretty comparable to what you're finding everywhere else online. So it's not like they're upcharging the cost of travel to maybe short you a little bit on that $300 travel credit. Now, you also get 10,000 miles every single year just for holding this card. Now, those 10,000 miles you can use any way you want, just like the miles you earn from your spend or your welcome bonus. So, some quick math here. $400 minus $395 equals $5 right there. If you just spend that $300 travel credit and those 10,000 miles you get every year for having this card, you're up $5. I got a 75,000 miles welcome offer for spending $4,000 in the first 3 months of having this card. If you're looking at getting any credit card that has an annual fee and has a nice new card member bonus, make sure you are able to hit that spend without just going to buy things you don't need. Now, I opened this credit card right before I bought a new car.
What's the matter with you?
As much as I really didn't want to buy a new car, I feel like I had a pretty good deal. I actually put $3,000 on this Capital One Venture X credit card, which only left $1,000 of spend that I needed to hit to get that new card member bonus. A little off topic of the Capital One Venture X, I did also make 2 other transactions with separate credit cards of $3,000 each, and actually ended up putting $9,000 down on this card through credit cards. Well, you're probably thinking, why did you use 3 different credit cards? Well, unfortunately, the dealership I went through has a maximum of $3,000 they will allow someone to put on a credit card transaction.
You don't say. You don't say.
So, of course, me being me, I asked, well, you said per transaction, right? So, I was able to maneuver 2 extra credit card transactions at $3,000 each, and only ended up taking out a $13,000 loan at 1%.
Stick with the program.
As I said, the Capital One travel portal is very clean, easy to maneuver. You can book flights, hotels, and rental cars, and also the Premier collection of hotels and other Premier benefits. Booking Premier will get you 10x back, earning a $100 credit, as well as complimentary daily breakfast for 2. That $100 credit can be used for food, spa treatments, as well as many other things during your stay. When booking flights in the Capital One travel portal, it's very easy to see which days are the best deals. green days are the cheapest option, so being flexible on dates you can travel can really benefit you, and stretching from economy to premier luxury. Capital One Venture X Travel Hack. Rapid rebooking option. For an additional fee, Capital One offers a service where you can change or rebook your flight when it is delayed for 2 or more hours. This will allow you to book on any airline on the travel portal, not just the one that you had the delay from, as long as it's the same or next day flight within the same class. So if you booked economy, you do have to rebook economy, and that can be valued up to $5,000. So if for some reason you booked a $250 flight and your best rebooking option that you wanted that day or the next day was a $5,000 flight, well, guess what? You can book that, and that little fee you pay covers it. This just avoids you having to go directly through the airline, waiting on hold, or waiting in line at the airport. You can just jump on your phone and rebook. Or if you do not see any of the rebooking options that you really like, you can cancel and get your money back. Let's jump over to what miles are worth with Capital One. Well, typically your Capital One miles are worth 1 cent per mile. Now, you can transfer those out through their various travel partners to pick up a little extra value, but through the Capital One travel portal, a 1.21 cent value. This card gets you 10x miles back when you book hotels or rental cars through the Capital One travel portal, and 5x back on flights, and 2x back on all other purchases, which is a pretty good multiplier for your base. Most of these other travel credit cards, or even these no annual fee cards, are at 1.25, or 1.5%. Not many 2x base cards. Oh, and booking through Turo will also get you 10x back. If you don't know what Turo is, it's pretty much think the Airbnb for rental cars. You book people's personal cars. Some of them are more luxury cars that you're not going to find from a Hertz, like a Tesla or something. And this leads right into our next Capital One Venture X hack. So you have saved up a whole bunch of points between the welcome offer, that 10,000 miles, and anything you've got from the spend. And you're thinking, man, I can't wait to go on a vacation and use all these points. Well, hold off for a second and hear me out.
Oh, okay. Wait, hold on a second.
Now, when using this, make sure the prices you are paying through the Capital One travel portal are comparable or better than what you're finding on Expedia or other travel sites. But if you pay for your travel, your flights, your hotels, your rental cars up front, not using your points, you'll get that 10x back or 5x back on your flights, rental cars, and hotels. And then you can reimburse yourself with your points for those purchases. Now you're getting that 10% or 5% bonus for just paying for them up front first and then reimbursing yourself. Now do make sure to purchase these through the Capital One travel portal to get those multipliers. It's so very easy to convert your points. You just go through these steps I'm showing you on the screen right now. Click here and click here and click here. Choose that, click here, and you're done. Reimburse yourself for your travel. This is also another great way, even without the multipliers. Say that you found a flight that you want to take that's on an airline not offered in the Capital One travel portal. You can still reimburse yourself with your points. You're just not getting those multipliers. Now, side note, when you book through the Capital One portal or any of these other third-party sites, if you are one of those people that shoot for loyalty programs with hotels, flights, or rental cars, this is not the best option for you. So you have to weigh the options of if those multipliers are more important to you or getting status in these various loyalty programs. I can't make that choice. You're gonna have to make that for yourself. And as we're talking about loyalty programs, never been a better time than now to like and subscribe to my channel if you're getting any value out of this at all. And how about commenting below on what your favorite credit card is, or if you have this Capital One Venture X, what benefit puts this card way above all the other cards, making this your favorite travel credit card? Is it not your favorite travel credit card? What is? Okay, back to the travel partners. This isn't my strong suit, but you can transfer your points to 18 different travel partners, most ratios 1-to-1. Those points may go further with some of these travel partners, as well as earn you loyalty points and bonuses in certain programs. Now this does make things a little more complicated, so if you're new to the travel credit card game, maybe just using the points through the travel portal is your best option. Some people like to dig a little deeper and get maximum value. Now also, this does not guarantee you will get a higher value, as well as the minimum points you can transfer out is 1,000. So say you have to move over 10,002 points for a hotel room, you're going to have to transfer out 11,000 points to fulfill that order. In that that transfer partner account. And once you transfer them out, you can't move them back. So just pay attention to that when you are thinking about transferring points out to any travel partner. Now let's jump over to lounges. A great benefit of all of these top tier travel credit cards. Capital One is lacking in the lounge department. A few things changed in 2023 that made this a little worse. Capital One only has one Capital One lounge, and that is in Dallas Fort Worth. Now, I will say I have used this lounge twice. One for a 6-hour flight delay, which just luckily I was at Dallas Fort Worth because it is an amazing lounge. But until they step this up with a few more of their own lounges, isn't the best travel credit card for a premium lounge. Now they are supposed to be opening another lounge in Denver and in DC sometime in 2023, but dates have not been put out yet. Now, just like other lounges connected to Priority Pass, you are allowed to bring 2 guests in with you to the lounge. Yes, for free. Now, after that, guests are $45 each. And back onto another Capital One Venture X hack. You get up to 4 authorized users for no additional cost on this Capital One Venture X card, which is one of the best benefits to not be overlooked on this card. As for instance, the Chase Sapphire Reserve costs you $75 per person to add an authorized user, or the Amex Platinum at $175 per authorized user. And why is this a hack? Well, one thing, your authorized users get nearly all the benefits that you do as the primary card holder. They also can get the lounge access applying for Priority Pass, and they also get to bring 2 guests in. So if you are traveling with a bigger group or a big family, this is a huge hack that can make your travels way more luxurious. Now, this does require just a little bit of upfront planning, as you're going to want to add that authorized user in time for them to get the card, apply for Priority Pass, or any other benefits they're trying to take advantage of. The one big benefit that you do not get as an authorized user is TSA PreCheck or Global Entry, which we haven't got to yet, but we'll talk about that later in the video. So that group or family of 6 you have, using one of your free authorized users gets all 6 of you into any of these lounges connected to Priority Pass or the Capital One Lounge, soon to be lounges. Speaking of Priority Pass, what is it? For those of you who do not know what Priority Pass is, it is pretty popular in the travel credit card game. Priority Pass is a pass that gets you many perks with your travel experience, making your trip more enjoyable and easy to navigate. Some of the member benefits include over 1,300 worldwide airport lounges, some of which include showers, spas, beds, and drinks. And just about every lounge includes food and high-speed Wi-Fi. So those card member benefits do get you access to Priority Pass and Plaza Premium Lounges. I will say in 2023, a big downfall on this card is the Priority Pass restaurants. Pre-2023, we used to have restaurants attached to Priority Pass. When I flew out of Cleveland, I used to go to Bar Simon every time on the way out, but they did cut that off the Priority Pass for the Capital One Venture X holders. You used to get $28 at any of these restaurants and $28 for up to 2 guests. Unfortunately, that is cut out. There's many speculations on why exactly that's been cut off. Capital One claims this is due to a change in the Visa Infinity level benefits. The Chase Sapphire Reserve is also a Visa Infinity card, and they still do have the restaurants attached to Priority Pass, so not quite sure exactly what's going on, but this does not make this card a deal breaker. Still well worth the value in my opinion. Let's jump over to rental car perks. Hertz President Circle. This allows you to skip the line. Your name's on the board when you get off the plane at the airport, and you go out, pick up your car from a 50% wider selection. Every once in a while, you will get a free upgrade. I've traveled 5 times using rental cars in this first year, and I've gotten 1 upgrade. Now, as it's hard to put a dollar amount on how much time you save at the airport, this is definitely a huge value. Your time is very valuable, so I say this is one of my favorite benefits. TSA PreCheck and Global Entry. With the Capital One Venture X, you get free TSA PreCheck or Global Entry. TSA PreCheck helps you navigate the lines quicker through the airport, and Global Entry allows you to skip customs coming back through into the United States. Continuing on with all of these Capital One benefits, we are jumping over to the Capital One Entertainment Portal. Many times there are pre-sale tickets going on sale for major events. This gets you access to those pre-sale tickets. No more waiting on your phone or computer for the second that ticket window opens up just to get denied for your ticket, or the website's buffering and you're just stuck. I personally have never used this, but it seems to be a big perk for the right person. Authorized users. I've briefly touched on this with the lounge access, but this is one of the best perks on this card. So some of the benefits the authorized user does get: lounge access, travel and purchase protection, Hertz President Circle, and so much more. Now, one of the big things the authorized users on this card does not get is TSA pre-checked or global entry covered. That's a bummer, but for all the perks for seriously no extra fee, I'd say take what you can get. Most premium travel credit cards in this tier do charge for authorized users, like the Chase Sapphire Reserve at $75 per authorized user, or the Amex Platinum at $175 per authorized user. So the ability to add 4 authorized users for no cost is a cheat code. Renewal perks. Think of this as a retention plan. And I'm telling you right now, as long as this doesn't go away, I don't see myself ever dropping this card. Annually, Capital One gives you 10,000 miles, which you can use any way you want, and that $300 travel credit, which you do have to use in the portal, but it's really no big deal. And before we jump over to what I've gotten out of this card over this past year and my overall expectations going forward, whether I keep it or not, let's go over some other benefits. So you do get price drop protection within 10 days of your flight, up to $50 covered in credits. Capital One Entertainment, which we mentioned a little bit before. No foreign transaction fees. Oh, miles don't expire. And there are no blackout dates. Cell phone protection up to $800 as long as you're paying your bill with the Capital One Venture X. Miles redemption, we spoke about this already. And referral bonus. If you use my referral link, which is in the description below, to open this card, I get a little bonus, and it's very, very appreciated. If you're here at this point of the video, I feel like you are probably going to open this card or just strongly leaning towards it. Let's jump over to all the value I got out of the first year with this card, and I think you'll be amazed at the potential this card has for your travel needs. Back when I got this card, I received a 75,000 miles welcome offer, which is valued at $750. I then quickly enrolled in Priority Pass and President Circle. The biggest benefits for me over this first year were definitely Priority Pass, President Circle, and that 2x multiplier, as I used this as my catch-all card for all purchases that didn't give me better multipliers with other credit cards. That 2x multiplier is really unheard of, especially in this travel credit card class. With the welcome offer, that $300 credit, those 10,000 miles, the points that I accrued from this card over the course of the first year, value from the lounges that I've taken advantage of through Priority Pass, and well, the time savings from the airports using President Circle, I've received approximately $2,376 in value from the first year of having this card. Now, yes, you can subtract that $395 annual fee that I had to pay out of that, because technically I did pay that for all of these benefits. And this was all from only traveling 5 times over the course of the year. I will also say that I easily had $12,000 to $15,000 of spend over the course of this year that easily could have been put on this card, but I had better benefits from the other credit cards I used, or hitting welcome offers with other credit cards that were necessary for that spend. So this card could actually be way more valuable to you than it was to me over the course of your first year. The number one benefit of this card, though, is definitely that $300 travel credit combined with those 10,000 miles you get every single year just for having this card. With this card only costing you $395 for the annual fee, that is easily covered by that $300 travel credit and 10,000 miles, as long as you just travel one time over the course of the year, making this card a no-brainer in my opinion. So the only way you don't get value out of this card and end up ahead of the annual fee is if you don't travel at all and really just don't use this card for your spend. So let's break down that value that I've received. The welcome offer, 75,000 miles, $750. That $300 travel credit, well, $300. 10,000 miles, $100. 82,693 points, $826.93. And I estimated my lounge value at about $400, which honestly is way over that. And I did have guests with me 3 out of the 5 times I've traveled. That definitely added to that value, but that's not value for me. That's value for them. Who is this card best for? I would say the minimum traveler who is just dipping their toes into this credit card game. Now, I would get this travel credit card before the Chase Sapphire Reserve or the Amex Platinum, mainly because it's a lower barrier to entry with that annual fee, and it's so straightforward and easy to get value from this card without any of those monthly benefits that if you don't use it, you lose it. Another reason, and this is a big reason why you should start with this as your first premium travel credit card, is because Capital One is what's called a subprime lender, meaning the customers they're looking for and tend to approve are people that hold a pretty high balance on their credit cards, but are responsible and paying them off, as the biggest source of their income comes from interest and fees paid on their credit cards. So simply, they like to approve people that pay them interest, and they don't like to approve people that, well, are very savvy and they cannot make any money off of. So if you have a lot of credit cards and are always carrying a $0 balance on all of those cards, you may have a slim shot of getting approved for this card. And Capital One just doesn't really want you around.
Nobody wants you around, period.
This is why Capital One is better to start with, rather than starting with the Chase Sapphire Reserve or the Amex Platinum, as they both operate under a different business model. I will say, as I think I'm pretty savvy in the credit card game, what probably helped me get approved for this card is that I did have 2 of my cards have a pretty high balance when I applied for this one. They did both have a $0 introductory interest for the first 15 months on one and 18 months on the other, so I was just making my minimum payments every month to keep that introductory offer. Also, when applying for this card, I did have 13 open credit cards and 12 hard inquiries in the last 24 months on my credit. So if you want to use these 3 things as a gauge to if you may get approved for the Capital One Venture X, here you go. This did make me a little nervous, as I wasn't sure if I was going to get accepted for this credit card and really didn't want a hard pull on my credit for no reason.
It might not even be worth the trouble.
Huh. Okay, it's worth it.
If you're still here at this point in the video, you might as well like and subscribe to my channel, and well, YouTube thinks you should watch these 2 videos next.